Okay, alright, settle in, buckle up, because what I'm about to share with you isn't just some dusty old philosophy lesson. No way, this is about unlocking a superpower. A secret weapon that can take you from stressed out, burned out, walking on eggshells in the office, to absolutely unshakable. Like, seriously, nothing can touch you. And the crazy part? It comes from ancient wisdom. This is the surprising way Stoic principles can make you unshakable in workplace drama. And trust me, you need to see this. So, picture this, right? A few years back, I was in a job. Let's just say it was a pressure cooker. Deadlines flying, personalities clashing like titans, and office politics? Man, it was a viper's nest. I remember this one Tuesday morning. Walking in, coffee in hand, feeling okay, and then, boom, an email chain lights up my inbox. It's about a project I poured my heart into. Late nights, skipped lunches, the works. And the email? It wasn't praise. Oh no, it was my boss, CCing half the department, tearing it apart, picking holes, questioning my competence, basically making me sound like I had no idea what I was doing. Publicly, my face went hot. My hands started shaking. My first thought? Retaliate, defend myself, explain, argue, quit, run for the hills. I felt like a punch bag, exposed for everyone to see. And honestly, I felt like giving up. Maybe you've been there too? Felt that sting of unfairness? That knot in your stomach when the workplace drama hits? That feeling like you're drowning in the chaos of other people's egos and insecurities? Yeah, I was there, completely consumed by it. Every harsh word, every sideways glance, every piece of gossip felt like a direct attack on me. My mood for the entire day, sometimes the entire week, was dictated by whatever drama was unfolding around the water cooler or in the dreaded reply all chains. I was reacting constantly, letting external chaos control my internal state. I was a puppet on strings pulled by every little incident, and it was exhausting, soul-crushing, even. It felt like I was in a boxing ring every single day, just trying to survive the next round of passive aggression or outright conflict. I saw colleagues burning out, friendships dissolving, talented people leaving because they just couldn't handle the toxicity. And I was heading down that same path. Fast. I felt trapped, like there was no escape from the constant cycle of stress and reaction. My focus wasn't on doing good work, it was on navigating the minefield. Trying not to step on the wrong toes. Trying to anticipate the next wave of drama. It was draining all my energy, all my creativity, all my joy. My life felt like it was shrinking, becoming solely about surviving this hostile environment. I'd go home physically and emotionally drained, unable to switch off, replaying every painful interaction, dreading the next day. My relationships outside of work suffered because I brought that stress home with me. I was becoming a more cynical, more bitter version of myself. And I knew, deep down, that wasn't who I wanted to be. I wanted to be effective. Yes, but more than that, I wanted to be peaceful. I wanted to be in control of my own reactions, my own happiness, regardless of the external circus. I craved resilience. I craved inner strength. I craved the ability to face the drama, the unfairness, the ridiculousness of it all, and not be broken by it. I searched everywhere for answers. Self-help books, motivational gurus, even tried meditating, which, let's be honest, is hard when your mind is screaming about that email. Nothing seemed to stick. Nothing offered a fundamental shift in how I experienced the drama. It was all about coping mechanisms, band-aids on a deeper wound. I needed something that went to the core. That changed the game entirely. I needed something that could make me not just survive the drama, but genuinely not be affected by it. And that's when I stumbled, almost by accident, into something ancient, something powerful, something that, at first glance, seemed completely counterintuitive to the modern, fast-paced, emotionally charged world of work. It was Stoicism. Now, when you hear Stoicism, maybe you picture stern-faced philosophers in robes, talking about enduring pain without flinching. And yeah, there's a bit of that. But that's not the whole story. Not even close. At its heart, Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming some kind of unfeeling robot. No, it's about understanding what is and isn't within your power. It's about focusing your energy only on the things you can control. And letting go. Truly letting go of the things you can't. And in the chaos of workplace drama, let me tell you, this one simple principle, it's a game changer. It's the foundation. Think about that email I got. My boss writing it, not in my control. Half the department seeing it, not in my control. What they thought when they read it, absolutely not in my control. My initial gut reaction of panic and anger? Okay, maybe not fully in my control at first. But what I do with that reaction, how I choose to respond, my interpretation of the event, my internal state, all within my control. This is the core, the absolute heart of Stoic wisdom, and it applies perfectly to the modern workplace. The ancient Stoics called it the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us. Some things are not up to us. Our opinions, impulses, desires, aversions, these are up to us. Our body, possessions, reputation, office politics, that email from your boss, these are not up to us. When you grasp this, deeply, fundamentally, something shifts. It's like gaining X-ray vision for office drama. You start to see the invisible lines dividing what is yours to deal with and what is just noise. External chaos that you can choose to ignore. Let's try it right now. Think about a recent piece of workplace drama you faced. A frustrating meeting. A colleague taking credit for your work. A senseless new policy. Got it? Okay. Now, grab a mental pen and paper. Draw a line down the middle. On one side, write down everything about that situation that was absolutely 100% outside of your direct control. The other person's actions, their words, the company culture, your boss's mood, the outcome of the meeting, all on the not in my control side. Now, on the other side, write down what was within your control. Your thoughts about the situation, your emotional reaction after the initial shock, your decision on how to respond, your effort in that project, your commitment to doing good work regardless, the words you chose to use, how you chose to spend your energy afterwards. See the difference? Most of the stress, most of the anger, most of the sleepless nights come from focusing, gripping onto, and fighting against everything on the not in my control side. It's like trying to change the weather by yelling at the sky. It's futile, and it only makes you wet and angry. But when you consciously, deliberately, pivot your focus to the in my control side, that's where your power lies. That's where you can act effectively. That's where you can maintain your peace. This isn't just theory. I started applying this tiny, monumental idea, that email, instead of firing back an angry reply or stewing in my own perceived failure. I paused, deep breath. Okay, I told myself, the email happened. His opinion is his opinion. That's outside my control. What is in my control? My understanding of the project. My preparation if I need to discuss it. My decision not to let this ruin my entire day. It wasn't magic overnight. The initial sting was still there. But the duration of the suffering? Drastically cut short. The intensity of the reaction? Muted. Instead of a full-blown emotional meltdown, it was a temporary discomfort. And that, my friends, is the first step to becoming unshakable. Recognizing the line, honoring the line, living on your side of the line. It's not about becoming passive. It's about becoming strategically disengaged from the external noise and intensely engaged with your internal world. Your actions, your character. Let's dive a little deeper into this. The Stoics talked about impressions, the initial thoughts or judgments that pop into our minds when something happens. Someone says something rude, impression. They are attacking me. A project fails, impression. I am a failure. Workplace drama thrives on us accepting these first, often distorted, impressions without question. We see the colleague gossiping and immediately add the judgment. They're evil and trying to ruin me. We get overlooked for a promotion and the judgment is, I'm not good enough. This company doesn't value me. The Stoic practice here is called assent. It means withholding your immediate agreement to that first impression. Someone says something rude, the impression arrives. That was rude. Okay, just acknowledge the raw data. Now, pause. Do you assent to the judgment? They said that because they are a terrible person who hates me and my life is ruined. Or can you consider other possibilities? Maybe they're having a terrible day. Maybe it wasn't intended the way you took it. Maybe their opinion simply has no bearing on your worth. This pause, this refusal to immediately assent to the negative, dramatic interpretation, is another superpower. It creates space between the event and your reaction, and in that space lies your freedom. Think about a common workplace drama, gossip. Someone is talking about you. Your ears perk up, your mind races. What are they saying? Is it true? Are people believing it? You feel exposed, vulnerable, angry. The first impression, the automatic thought, is likely, this is unfair. They are harming my reputation. I need to defend myself. And you're instantly hooked into the drama. Your emotional state is now dependent on what someone else is saying, which is completely outside your control. But apply the Stoic principle. The fact is, someone is talking about you. Impression received. Now, withhold assent to the judgment that this is a catastrophe that you must fix immediately. Ask yourself, is their talking truly harming you? Or is your belief that it is harming you the source of your distress? Can you control what they say? No. Can you control what others believe? Largely, no. Can you control your own actions? Your own integrity? Your own focus on your work? Yes. If you know you've acted with integrity. If you focus on doing excellent work. Does the gossip have any real power over you? Or does it only have power if you let it? By giving it your emotional energy and focus? This is not about ignoring reality. It's about recognizing that the reality of gossip is simply that words are being spoken. The drama comes from our internal reaction and judgment about those words. By withholding assent to the catastrophic judgment, you starve the drama of the energy it needs to consume you. You observe it, understand it for what it is, often a reflection of the speaker's own issues, not yours, and you pivot your focus back to what is within your control, your own conduct, your own character, your own work. This requires practice, of course. It's not a switch you flip. It's a muscle you train. Every time you feel that pull towards anger, frustration, or anxiety in the workplace, recognize it. That's your cue. Pause. Ask, is this in my control? If no, practice letting it go. If yes, focus your energy there. The more you do it, the stronger that muscle becomes. The initial impression still arrives, because we're human, but you get faster, more adept at questioning it, at withholding assent to the dramatic narrative your mind wants to create. This is how you build your inner citadel, that fortress of peace that no external drama can penetrate. It's not built by fighting the external world, but by mastering your internal one. It's about recognizing that your most valuable possession isn't your job title or your salary, it's your inner peace. Your character, your ability to reason and choose your response. And that is absolutely, 100%, within your control. Think about the sheer amount of time and emotional energy we waste on things outside our control in the workplace. Waiting for approval, worrying about layoffs, stressing over a colleague's incompetence, getting angry about a company decision, trying to change someone's mind who clearly isn't listening. Imagine taking all that wasted energy, which is probably enough to power a small city, and reinvesting it into things you can control. Improving your skills, focusing on the quality of your work, building positive relationships where possible, setting healthy boundaries, planning your own career path, maintaining your physical and mental well-being. That's where real power lies. That's where you build a career and a life based on solid ground, not built on the shifting sands of office drama. The surprising truth is, when you stop reacting to every little poke and prod, when you become less volatile, less easily drawn into the drama, something fascinating happens. You become less of a target. The drama needs fuel, and your emotional reaction is premium fuel. Take that away, and the fire struggles to burn. You start moving through the workplace with a quiet confidence, a sense of purpose that isn't dependent on external validation or avoiding conflict. You become a stable presence in a chaotic environment. People might even start coming to you for calm and perspective, because you're not swept up in the storm. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent and disciplined. It's about choosing peace over drama. Every single time, it's about recognizing that while you can't control the waves, you can absolutely learn to surf. Or even better, build a boat that the waves can't capsize. This is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of how Stoicism can transform your workplace experience. Because handling the initial drama is one thing. But what about when it gets really tough? When the injustice feels unbearable? When it feels like the whole world is against you, and the stakes are incredibly high? Get ready, because the next level of Stoic power is even more surprising, and it will make you genuinely unshakable. Are you ready to discover how embracing what feels like total unfairness can actually be your greatest strength? How seeing obstacles as opportunities isn't just a cheesy motivational quote, but a profound Stoic practice that can change everything? How to find power in the drama you despise. Alright, welcome back. If you're still here, it means you felt that shift. That spark of possibility from our first dive into Stoicism and the dichotomy of control. You started seeing how much of the stress, the frustration, the sheer agony of workplace drama comes from fighting things you can't change. And you felt the power, the quiet strength, that comes from focusing on what you can control, your mind, your reactions, your effort. But let's be real, workplace drama doesn't always stay on the surface. It can cut deep, it can feel personal, it can threaten your livelihood, your reputation, your sense of self-worth. What happens when the drama isn't just annoying noise, but a genuine obstacle, a major setback, a betrayal, a situation that feels utterly and completely unfair? That's when we need the next layer of Stoic wisdom. That's when we turn obstacles into the path itself. The Stoics had a radical idea about challenges and difficulties, captured perfectly by Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who probably dealt with more drama in a day than most of us see in a lifetime. He said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think about that. The very thing blocking you, the very drama you despise and want to avoid, can actually be the means by which you move forward. This is the principle of Amor Fati, the love of fate. Not a passive resignation to whatever happens, but an active embrace of it, seeing everything that occurs, especially the difficult stuff, as necessary, as material for you to work with, as an opportunity to practice your virtues and become stronger. Let me tell you a story. There was a time I was working on a major project, something that was supposed to be a huge step for my career. I poured everything into it. Long hours, high stakes. Then, out of nowhere, a key member of the team, someone I trusted, made a critical error, a big one, and the fallout landed right on my desk. The project was delayed indefinitely, potentially cancelled. My boss was furious. My reputation felt like it was in tatters. My initial reaction? Devastation, anger at my colleague, fear for my future. It felt like everything I had worked for was crumbling because of something completely outside my control, someone else's mistake. I was deep in the drama, playing the victim, feeling the injustice of it all. Why me? I thought, this isn't fair. But then, I remembered the dichotomy of control. The colleague's mistake? Not in my control. The project delay? Not in my control. My boss's anger? Not in my control. What was in my control? My reaction, my attitude, my effort to salvage the situation. And then, I pushed a little deeper into the Stoic mindset. What if this wasn't just a disaster? What if this was an opportunity? An opportunity to demonstrate resilience I didn't know I had? An opportunity to find creative solutions under pressure? An opportunity to practice patience and understanding towards my colleague, even though I was furious. An opportunity to show my boss how I handle adversity, not just success? This wasn't easy, trust me. My gut was screaming, panic, and blame. But I deliberately chose a different path. I accepted the situation, not happily, but realistically. This is what has happened. Okay, now, what is the Stoic response? Focus on action within my control. I calmly assessed the damage. I met with my boss, not to make excuses or blame, but to present a clear picture of the situation and propose potential paths forward. I spoke with my colleague, not to chew them out, but to understand what happened and see how we could move forward together. This was the Amor Fati in action, not loving the mistake itself, but loving my fate to be in this challenging situation, because it presented a unique chance to exercise virtues like courage, wisdom, justice, fairness, and temperance, self-control, under pressure. And the surprising outcome? We didn't just salvage the project, we found a new, even better approach through the necessity of fixing the error. My boss, Initially angry, saw my calm problem-solving and leadership under pressure. My relationship with my colleague, tested by the mistake, became stronger because we worked through it with honesty and mutual respect. The obstacle didn't just become the way, it became a better way. This is the profound power of Amor Fati in the workplace. When you stop seeing setbacks, difficult people, and unfair situations as purely negative events happening to you, and start seeing them as raw material for you to work on yourself, everything changes. The irritating colleague isn't just annoying, they're an opportunity to practice patience. The impossible deadline isn't just stressful, it's an opportunity to practice discipline and effective planning. The unfair criticism isn't just hurtful, it's an opportunity to practice not basing your self-worth on others' opinions. Are you seeing this? The very drama you want to run from is the gym for your stoic muscles. Every annoying email, every frustrating meeting, every piece of unfairness is a chance to get stronger, more resilient, more virtuous. The Stoics believed that the only true good is virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, and everything else, reputation, health, wealth, job security. Avoiding workplace drama is a preferred indifferent, meaning, sure, we'd prefer to have a peaceful workplace, good reputation, etc. But our happiness and worth should not depend on them. Our happiness and worth depend only on our character and our actions. When your focus shifts from clinging to preferred indifference, like a drama-free office, to cultivating your virtue, like responding to drama with courage and wisdom, you become incredibly powerful, because while external things can be taken away in an instant, your character, once forged, is yours forever. This is where negative visualization comes in. Another powerful Stoic tool. It sounds gloomy, right? Thinking about bad things happening? But the Stoics used it not to dwell on misery, but to appreciate what they had and to prepare mentally for adversity. In the workplace context, this means occasionally contemplating losing your job, being publicly humiliated, or having your project fail, not in a fearful way, but in a detached, what if this happened, way. How would you handle it? What principles would you rely on? What would you still have that's truly valuable, like your skills, your character, your relationships outside of work? This isn't about being a pessimist. It's about building resilience by mentally rehearsing challenges. If you've already considered the possibility of that backstabbing colleague succeeding in undermining you, and you've thought about how you would respond with dignity and focus on finding your next opportunity, the actual event, should it occur, loses much of its power to shock and devastate you. You've mentally prepared for the storm. So when it hits, you're not scrambling to build your shelter, you're already inside. Or you know exactly how to navigate the wind and rain. It's like a fire drill. You practice the worst-case scenario so that if the fire ever breaks out, you act calmly and effectively instead of panicking. Think about a common workplace fear, being laid off. It's a huge source of anxiety for many, and completely outside our control. We can do our best work, be the best employee, and still be subject to economic downturns or company restructuring. The fear of it can consume us, making us desperate, risk-averse, and constantly stressed. But applying negative visualization, you consider the possibility. Okay, I could be laid off. What would that look like? You might lose your income temporarily, have to search for a new job, face uncertainty. It's not pleasant, but is it the end of the world? No, you still have your skills. You still have your network. You still have your ability to learn and adapt. You still have your character. You still have your life outside of work. By mentally walking through the scenario, you realize that while difficult, it's not insurmountable. And critically, you realize that the fear of losing your job is often worse than the reality of it. This doesn't mean you don't try your best at your current job or plan for the future. It means you do those things because they are virtuous actions within your control, not out of a paralyzing fear of losing something external that you can't ultimately guarantee keeping anyway. This practice gives you incredible freedom. When you're not terrified of the worst-case scenario in the workplace, the failure, the criticism, the job loss, you are free to act with courage and integrity. You can speak truth to power, wisely, of course. You can take calculated risks. You can stand up for what's right, even if it's unpopular. You can focus on doing excellent work for its own sake. not just to please others or avoid negative outcomes. This level of freedom is genuinely rare and incredibly powerful in the workplace. It makes you resilient, not because you avoid the drama, but because you are prepared for it, you expect it, and you see it as an opportunity to live out your highest values. Another critical Stoic principle for navigating the human element of workplace drama is understanding human nature. The Stoics believed that all people, when they act wrongly, do so out of ignorance of the good. They aren't inherently evil, they are mistaken in what they believe will bring them happiness or fulfillment. That backstabbing colleague? They might be acting from a place of insecurity, believing that putting others down is the only way to get ahead. The overly critical boss? They might be under immense pressure themselves, or genuinely misguided in their management style. This perspective doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it helps you detach from taking it personally. When someone acts out of ignorance, is it rational to be consumed by anger and indignation? Or is it more rational to recognize their misguided state and perhaps even feel a sense of pity? Marcus Aurelius would start his day by reminding himself that he would encounter difficult, irrational, and unjust people, not as a complaint, but as a preparation. He would then tell himself that he couldn't be harmed by these people, because they couldn't corrupt his own mind or character. Their actions were their problem, stemming from their own ignorance. His reaction, his choice to remain just, wise, courageous, and temperate in the face of their behavior, was his responsibility and his power. Applying this in the workplace, when a colleague is driving you crazy, or a boss is being unreasonable, pause and consider their potential ignorance. What underlying fear or mistaken belief might be driving their behavior? This isn't about becoming a doormat. You can still address the behavior, set boundaries, or take appropriate action, but you do it from a place of calm observation, not from a place of personal offense and anger. You see the behavior as a problem to be solved, not a personal attack to which you must react emotionally. This perspective drains the drama of its emotional charge. You're not locked in a personal battle. You're simply dealing with a misguided person and focusing on the most effective, virtuous way to handle the situation. This shift in perspective, seeing obstacles as opportunities, Amor Fati, preparing for challenges, negative visualization, and understanding human nature, ignorance of the good, fundamentally changes your relationship with workplace drama. You move from being a victim tossed about by the waves to a captain navigating the storm with skill and purpose. You are no longer defined by the drama around you, but by how you choose to respond to it. This is where true inner strength is found. This is how you become genuinely unshakable. But there's one more piece to the puzzle. How do you not just survive the drama, but actually build a better, more fulfilling work life using Stoic principles? How do you not just avoid being consumed, but actively thrive and even influence your environment positively? That's where the ultimate level of Stoic wisdom comes in. It's not just about defense, it's about building, contributing, and finding deep satisfaction not in external rewards, but in the act of living virtuously itself. And it's far more powerful and surprising than you might think. Are you ready to unlock the Stoic secret to not just surviving, but truly flourishing, and becoming a force for good in even the most challenging workplace? The unseen Stoic strength that commands respect, without saying a word. Alright, you've made it this far. You've learned to identify the line between what you control and what you don't, starving the drama of its power over your emotions. You've begun to see obstacles and unfairness not as disasters, but as training grounds for your character. Even learning to embrace them, you've started to understand that others' negative actions often stem from their own internal struggles. Not necessarily a personal attack on you. You're building that inner citadel. But Stoicism isn't just about building a fortress to hide in. It's also about how you live in the world, how you interact with others, and how you find purpose. The final, incredibly powerful layer of Stoic wisdom for the workplace isn't just about being unshakable against drama. It's about cultivating an inner state and outer conduct that can actually diminish drama, earn respect, and create a more positive environment around you, often without you even trying. This comes down to the Stoic focus on virtue as the sole good. Wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. These aren't abstract concepts, they're principles for action. In the workplace, this means striving to act with wisdom, using good judgment, understanding situations clearly, justice, treating colleagues fairly, being honest, contributing to the common good of the team, company, courage, facing difficult conversations, taking responsibility, persisting through challenges, and temperance, exercising self-control, managing your impulses, avoiding excessive indulgence or reaction. When your primary focus shifts from getting ahead, getting praised, avoiding blame, or navigating politics, all external indifference, to simply acting in accordance with these virtues, your entire presence changes. Think about it. Who are the people in your workplace you genuinely respect? I'm willing to bet they're the ones who are reliable, honest, fair, calm under pressure, and dedicated to doing good work for its own sake. They embody those Stoic virtues. Whether they know it or not, they aren't necessarily the loudest, the most attention-seeking, or the best at office politics. They are simply solid, consistent, trustworthy. They possess an inner strength that commands respect, not because they demand it, but because they embody it. When you apply Stoicism proactively in this way, you stop playing the office game according to everyone else's rules. Rules that are often based on ego, fear, and a chase for external validation. You start playing by your own rules. The ancient, time-tested rules of virtue. You focus on doing your job with excellence and integrity, wisdom. Justice. You communicate honestly and respectfully, justice. Temperance. You face challenges head-on instead of avoiding them, courage. You manage your workload and your reactions with self-control, temperance. And here's the magic. This kind of conduct is incredibly rare and valuable in any workplace. While others are caught in the cycle of drama, complaining, blaming, and seeking external validation, you are quietly building a reputation for competence, reliability, and integrity. This isn't about being perfect, it's about consistently striving to act virtuously, learning from your mistakes, and getting back on the path. Let's take a classic workplace scenario. A project failure where blame is being assigned. The non-Stoic reaction is often defensiveness, pointing fingers, making excuses, getting angry, and trying to protect your reputation at all costs. The drama explodes. A Stoic approach, focused on virtue. First, accept the reality of the failure, dichotomy of control. Second, see it as an opportunity to learn and demonstrate character, Amor Fati. Third, focus on your own actions within the situation, virtue. Did you do your best? Were you diligent? If yes, you have nothing to be ashamed of, regardless of external blame. If no, take responsibility, courage, justice. Focus on what can be learned and done differently next time, wisdom. Instead of contributing to the blame game drama, you become a voice of calm reason and accountability. This doesn't mean you won't face consequences, or that others won't still try to assign blame unfairly. But your internal experience is different. You aren't consumed by guilt or fear. You are grounded in your own integrity and your commitment to learning and improving. And often, this kind of response, calm and focused on solutions rather than drama, is surprisingly effective. It disarms critics, demonstrates maturity, and reinforces your reputation as a reliable and principled person. Consider the Stoic concept of oikeiosis, sometimes translated as affinity or familiarization. It's the idea that we have a natural affinity for ourselves, then our family, our community, and eventually, all of humanity. In the workplace, this applies to our colleagues and the organization itself. While we shouldn't base our inner peace on the state of the office, Stoicism doesn't mean withdrawing completely. It encourages us to contribute positively where we can, to treat colleagues with respect and fairness, justice, and to use our skills for the benefit of the whole, wisdom. Justice. When you act with a genuine desire to contribute positively, to be a good colleague, to help where you can, you not only live virtuously, but you also subtly change the dynamic around you. You become a positive anchor in a sea of potential negativity. You foster better relationships, not through faking friendliness or engaging in social maneuvering, but through consistent, respectful, and just behavior. This kind of genuine connection, based on shared effort and mutual respect, is immune to the petty drama that plagues relationships built on gossip and insecurity. Finding purpose in your work also takes on a Stoic dimension. It's not about chasing titles or external markers of success. It's about finding meaning in the act of working itself, in the opportunity to use your skills, to solve problems, to contribute, and to practice virtue. Even in a seemingly mundane job, you can practice diligence, temperance, honesty, justice, perseverance, courage, and thoughtful problem-solving, wisdom. Your purpose becomes living virtuously through your work, whatever that work may be. This inner purpose is unshakable, because it doesn't depend on your job title, your salary, or whether your boss recognizes your efforts. It depends only on your commitment to acting with integrity. And this leads to the ultimate freedom, when your worth isn't tied to your job, your status, or what others think of you. You are free, free from the fear of failure, free from the need for external validation, free from the power of workplace drama to dictate your mood or your actions. You are free to do your best work, to treat others with respect, to speak your mind wisely, and to walk away if a situation becomes truly toxic and irreparable, knowing that your peace and integrity are more valuable than any job. Imagine moving through your workday with this kind of inner freedom, observing the drama without being consumed by it, responding to challenges with calm reason and courage, treating colleagues with fairness, even when they are unfair to you, finding satisfaction not just in the outcome of your work, but in the virtuous effort itself. This isn't just surviving the workplace, it's mastering it, from the inside out. This isn't always easy. There will be days when the drama feels overwhelming, when you forget these principles, when you react emotionally. That's okay. Stoicism is a practice, not a destination. The key is to keep returning to the core ideas. What is in my control? How can I respond with virtue? How can I see this challenge as an opportunity? So, the next time you find yourself facing workplace drama, that frustrating email, that backstabbing colleague, that impossible deadline, that unfair criticism, pause. Remember the power you have. The power to choose your response. The power to focus on your character. The power to see the obstacle as material for your growth. The power to find purpose in the virtuous effort itself. This isn't just about getting by. It's about transforming your experience. It's about building an inner resilience so strong that the external chaos of the workplace simply can't touch you. You become the calm in the storm, the unshakable force in a world of constant change and drama. And the most surprising part? When you stop needing validation, when you stop fearing failure, when you simply focus on being the best, most virtuous person you can be in your work, you often achieve more, earn more respect, and find a deeper, more lasting satisfaction than you ever could by chasing external rewards or trying to win the endless game of office politics. So, step back from the drama. Step into your power. Embrace the ancient wisdom. Become unshakable. And remember this. The only thing anyone can ever truly take from you is your peace. And only if you let them. Don't let them. Choose virtue. Choose control over your inner world. Choose to be unshakable. The workplace is your training ground. Go train.